Good evening, everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. Can you guys hear me okay? All right, cool. So this afternoon, the SPC went ahead and updated their day 2 severe risk, and they have now upgraded Southwest Michigan into a low end marginal risk. It does include tornadoes. It's not a very high threat, but the low pressure system, the center of it, is going to be very close by. That's going to allow there to be a lot of shear in the area to work with. So the biggest question, again, as per usual here in Michigan, is how much instability are we going to have? Because being the low is so close, it's kind of borderline right there along the border. If it does lift north, it'll bring the warm sector into Michigan, which is why they have the threat in place. So we expect that warm front to be north of the border. What that does is put areas south of the warm front in a warm sector where it is able to destabilize and become conducive to severe weather. So the overall risk tomorrow is quite low, but it is there. This is your SPC risk. It does include areas such as South Haven, Benton Harbor, Kalamazoo, Three Rivers, Schoolcraft, Sturgis, Colon, Coldwater, and Hillsdale. It's a very low threat, but it's there. This is your tornadic threat, and it's also highlighted in wind and hail as well. I'm just going to use this as a guideline. This is pretty much the areas that we're watching tomorrow. This may get extended further east. It may not. It's just going to be dependent on what the models say and what happens tomorrow afternoon. So we'll take a peek at some models here. Go ahead and present the NAM3. The NAM3 has been doing a great job lately at producing storms in the right spots here on the models. So this model in particular, if we go ahead and run it forward through Monday, this is Monday morning, we're dry. The low is spinning off to our west, and by mid-afternoon, early to mid-afternoon, we have rain. Now you see how it looks messy? That's where we get the question of instability. Now the warm front at this point in time this afternoon, or tomorrow afternoon, should I say, is going to be right along the border of the state. Indiana-Ohio border. So we're going to have to watch and see if that warm front can lift north. The SPC seems to think it will, just barely, maybe up to 94 or so. We'll have to kind of watch that and see how it plays out. But you do see here south of that front, we do have some cells, Illinois, Northwest Indiana here. So you go ahead and move it through the evening. Those cells continue off to the east-southeast. So if that warm front can lift across the state, it'll bring the risk for all hazards, including tornadoes, wind, and large hail. Timing on this will be mid-afternoon through early evening. The peak heating is going to be best for this. So we'll have to go ahead and keep an eye on this for you guys. We'll have a forecast posted tomorrow morning. But that's what we got going on. Pretty simple, pretty low threat, not a big widespread area. So if need be, we'll be live tomorrow here. If you guys have questions, hit me with them. Berry County, you are included in this threat. Any questions, guys? What's up, Tanya? Yes, Aaron, great point. Thank you. I forgot about that. Tomorrow afternoon and evening, we may be looking at some flooding. I'd be surprised if they don't issue some type of advisory or watch. Models right now really are hinting at a very heavy swath of rain coming through somewhere in central Michigan, but widespread soaking rain for most of us here in the lower peninsula. Go ahead and switch over to the precip. This is your rainfall totals. We go ahead and move through Monday afternoon, evening into Tuesday morning. You're going to see this heaviest swath of rain comes through the I-94, I-96 corridor here. So areas like Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Jackson, over to Ann Arbor, you guys are in an area of 1 to 3 inches of heavy rain. That may shift depending, again, on how that low tracks. It's going to be just north of the warm front is where the heaviest rain is expected. So if you are finding yourself north of that warm front, this is probably going to be the pretty accurate location as to where this is at. The warm front does stall at the border. It'll just be north of the border here, and that's why you see these returns happening just across the border. Go ahead and look at one more model on precipitation. I'm curious to see how this goes. The HRRR model is usually dry, or usually fairly dry, like not completely dry, but like it's drier than usual. So we'll go ahead and see what this says. But again, some flooding, localized flooding is possible tomorrow in the lower peninsula. Now you see this one has a little bit further north, but still comes further south here, just a tad bit further north. And again, same areas, Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, Three Rivers, over to Ann Arbor. You're looking between 1 and 3 inches and potentially localized higher amounts. There's going to be a lot of moisture in the atmosphere tomorrow. So yes, flooding is certainly a threat. So thank you for pointing that out to me. I was going to cover that and I completely forgot. No, Muskegon is not in the threat. Overall, if you're anywhere south of 96 tomorrow, I'd say 1 to 3 inches of rain is possible. If you're north, probably up to a half inch. Lasco County, nothing for you guys. Severe weather-wise, that is. Yeah, Detroit right now is not in the threat. I don't think it will make it to Detroit. If that warm front does lift further north, you may be included. But for right now, Detroit, you're in the clear. Just going to be some heavy rain for you guys. Lenawee County, hello, Jeff. You're looking at just some heavy rain tomorrow. If that severe threat does shift north, you would be included. But for right now, it looks to stay just to your south. South and west, should I say. The SPC has the risk ending. If you are in the very southern part of Lenawee County, you're technically in that risk. But for right now, the focus is going to be southwest Michigan. I don't think it will extend further north. If it does, we'll make an update post tomorrow morning. The new update comes at 2 a.m. and again at 9 a.m. and again at 12:30 in the afternoon. So we'll have 3 more updates before tomorrow afternoon to kind of finalize details. We'll have a forecast posted tomorrow morning as well as our map and stuff like that. So look for that around probably 10, 11 o'clock. Monroe County, just some heavy rain for you guys. Lapeer, just some rain. Coldwater, you are in the severe threat. They're in Branch County. You guys are in the threat for a very low-end severe threat for right now. Because the reason it's low is because of the nature tomorrow. Because that low is so close and just the overall models really just fire up a bunch of rain, we don't expect there to be a lot of instability. If it was a little bit clearer, we may have a higher threat, but for right now, it's just going to throw you out some pretty messy rain showers and perhaps some Boeing segments and or supercells that can fire between all the rain. Washtenaw County, you are not in the threat, just some rain for you guys. Timing on this for tomorrow, for the rain for the most of Michigan, it'll start up. Go ahead and get back here to the model. Severe weather in Southwest, if there's going to be any severe weather, it's going to be mid to late afternoon or whenever the warm front can get north. It may be a little bit later or a little bit earlier, just depending on how quickly that warm front moves. But right now, the bulk of it stays right around the 2 to 6 time frame, I'd say. As for rain for the state, we can expect to start getting rain by about noon in the western side of the state. If you are in like Kalamazoo, Battle Creek, anywhere on the west side by 131 all the way up to Ludington, expect rain by early afternoon. And then on the east side, it fills in. It'll last overnight Tuesday for most of us into Tuesday morning. And again, some more rain is possible behind that. So it's going to be a very long, prolonged rain event here for most of us here. But yeah, rain will start on the west side right around the early afternoon time frame, and it'll reach the east side by late afternoon. No problem, Jeff. Like I said, Livonia, target time for rain probably mid to late afternoon for you guys. Was there any kind of severe weather threat the other day when Perry tornado hit? Yes, indeed there was. We were forecasting that day 3 days in advance, so we were well prepared for that day. It was expected. In fact, guys who are interested in a recap video of that day, it's actually going to be releasing on our YouTube in 45 minutes. So it's a 14-minute long video. If you guys want to sit back and watch it, we recap the environment, the radar, our chasers, live feed, stuff like that. We're going to recap it for you guys, go through some damage, go through the overall rating of the tornado, the path of it. So it's a pretty interesting video. It's also very informative. If you guys want to watch that, it's up on YouTube in 45 minutes. Yes, Mary, that would be correct. Allegan Berry, if it shifts north, right now you guys are on that really cusp of the northward extent of that severe risk. So I wouldn't expect too much up there. But again, if it does shift north, we'll keep you updated here on the page. So just stay tuned to the page tomorrow morning. We'll give you an update. But yeah, just some rain for you guys. If the warm front moves north, could our severe threat go up? I don't think so, Eric. And that's just because the nature of this warm front is very messy. It'll be very rain filled. So instability will have a hard time building. So I think it's going to stay a very, very low end risk. I'll be very shocked if we see any upgrades. When should Hillsdale expect rain? I would say mid-afternoon for you guys, Alexis. Yeah, I know. We've been covering Hillsdale County for a lot of times this year. I know how it is. But yeah, you do have severe threat tomorrow in Hillsdale. It's a low-end threat. I wouldn't get too stressed out about it, but the threat is there. Forecast for Berrien, you are in the heart of the marginal risk. Let me go ahead and pull that back up for you guys so you can see. The marginal risk extends very close to the southwest borders. It extends all the way over to the very southern part of Lenawee County, but mostly Hillsdale, Branch, St. Joseph, Berrien, Cass counties, as well as I think that's Van Buren and Kalamazoo counties. You guys are included. And then Calhoun County, the southeast or southwest corner of Calhoun, is also included in that. But yeah, Berrien County, you're basically in the middle of that marginal risk threat, so you do have a severe threat for tomorrow, and that's going to be dependent on if that warm front can lift north. It's pretty bad here in Michigan. Our severe threat is always dependent on something happening. I hate communicating that to you guys because when it doesn't happen, we have a lot of angry people. Hey, you guys forecast severe weather. Well, it's a risk. You know, we always have these conditions that need to come together here in Michigan, as most often the case. So apologize for that. That's just how our weather goes here. If that warm front does lift north tomorrow, we will see that severe threat. A marginal risk is the very lowest risk that the SPC can issue. Number 1 is marginal risk. Number 2 is slight risk. Number 3 is enhanced risk. Number 4 is moderate. And number 5 is high. The colors are marginal green, slight is yellow, enhanced is orange, moderate is red, high is pink. So when you see these dark green colors, it means a marginal risk. If it was a slight risk, we would see yellow, et cetera, et cetera. It beats snow. Yes, it does, Steve. In my opinion, I mean, I'm honestly ready for cooler temperatures. I'm much rather prefer 50s or 60s and a nice breeze. But I mean, I'll take 70s, I guess. But I'm just ready for some cooler weather. Not ready for snow though. Any other questions, guys? This is going to be right in Alex and Chandler's territory tomorrow, so we may have some chasing for you guys if there's anything to chase. I would expect them to be out and about in the afternoon and evenings. And again, I'll be here if any severe weather does happen. I will be here all day, ready to go live if anything does happen. So I got you guys covered. Football in the rain tomorrow. Yeah, what do you mean football? Who's playing football? I know high schools are starting their season here pretty soon. So yeah, overall pretty low threat tomorrow, but it is there, and that's why we're live here. We're trying to get as many people aware as what's going to happen tomorrow. You know, it's a very low threat and it's a very isolated threat to the very south and western part of the state. We want to go live here for people in that area. So even if you don't live in this area, we have a lot of followers who do. How's the weather for tonight looking? Right now, just some high clouds on the east side here. I do believe we have some sprinkles working their way from Grand Rapids up to Bay City, Saginaw. We could see a couple sprinkles, and it really sucks, honestly, because we have the Starlink overhead again tonight. So areas that are clear, if you happen to be clear at 10:18 tonight, look up. You may see a Starlink satellite train. Otherwise, on the east side here, it looks pretty cloudy, so I'm pretty disappointed in that. Christine from Monroe over there, you guys are currently not in a severe threat, but for rain, you're looking at mid to late afternoon, and it may rain hard. You may have some flooding over there. But for right now, severe weather stays to your west and south. Little League football tomorrow in the rain. Hey, that sounds good to me. You saw what last night? Oh, the Starlink train? Yeah, that it happened yet last night as well. It'll happen again tomorrow night too. I would rather be warned for nothing, I'd rather be warned for something and nothing happened than to be warned about something that did not. Okay, hold on. I'm reading this completely wrong. Would rather be warned and nothing happened than not be warned and something happened. Yes, that is basically our theology, our philosophy here as well. Even if it's a slight risk like this, or should I say marginal low end risk, we're going to give you the details on it. Just because it's a risk, it exists. Excuse me. You'd rather you guys be informed than not be informed. Yes, Dawn, the Starlink train will be the same areas tonight. It'll probably be a little bit further on the horizon. I did not see it last night, but the tracker does say look west to southwest. So that's all I have the information. Otherwise, I just look around the sky for it. I don't have the exact details. I'm not the expert on it, but the tracker online, if you were to type in Starlink tracker, you can find the dates it's visible. It'll also tell you look what direction, and that model does say like look west southwest. Ionia, it's possible. I would say Ionia's inch or two is possible. I think the bulk of it might be to your south, but we'll see. Again, that warm front does lift further north. It does bring that heavy rain a little bit further north too. But if you're between the 96/69 down to the borders, so you're like Flint, Lansing, Grand Rapids, Ionia, I'll go ahead and include Ionia in there, and south, you guys are in the risk for the highest heavy rainfalls. Severe threat Christie for Constantine is going to be tomorrow afternoon between, I'd say, 2 and 6, centered around peak heating, just because we're going to need all the instability we can get tomorrow. It's a very messy forecast. Yes, that is exactly what we're trying to get at here. Even if it's a small risk, we're going to communicate that and we're going to give you the details on it. And again, it's a small risk, but there is enough spin in the atmosphere tomorrow to get a tornado or get damaging winds or get some large hail. It's possible. It's a low threat, but it's there. A couple of sprinkles in Allegan. Yep, it's not really heavy. The heaviest rain on my radar right now is up in the Bay City, Saginaw areas. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to the Gaylord's radar. Nope, that's it. So if you're in Bay City, Saginaw, Midland, Freeland, you're getting some pretty good rain up there, but that's all I see here. Everything else is just sprinkles. Any more questions, guys? Go ahead and recap really quickly. We do have a severe threat for tomorrow in the very far southwest corner, extending from about South Haven all the way down to about Morenci in Lenawee County. So Coldwater, Hillsdale, Three Rivers, Sturgis, Constantine, Kalamazoo, Benton Harbor, South Haven, Berrien County. You guys are all in that severe risk tomorrow. That does include mainly in the form of damaging winds. If any cells can become separate from the congealed line, or should I say blob of rain we expect, we could see some hail, but hail should remain pretty low threat tomorrow. But again, if storms can stay isolated, we may have a higher hail threat. There is a possibility of a brief, weak spin-up tornado, just given the amount of spin we have tomorrow in the atmosphere. But that threat will be subdued as well, just by the amount of instability that's forecast. We're not expecting much instability at all. So with that being said, we do expect that risk to remain pretty low, but it still does exist. Timing on this is going to be between 2 p.m. and about 6 p.m. It might be a little bit before or a little bit after those time frames, but that will be what it's centered around. Peak heating is going to be important because when it's at its warmest of the day, that's when instability is at its highest. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys. If you guys have no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I'll give you about one more minute to ask some questions, and then I'm going to hop off here. And again, if you guys have some time tonight, we are dropping a recap video of the Perry tornado as well as the Jackson County tornado warning that had a funnel cloud on it. We're going to be doing some analysis of the environment, what led up to it, giving you some pictures, the track details, damage details, stuff like that. So if you guys are free in 38 minutes, we're dropping that on YouTube. So look for that. And I don't see any more questions. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off here, guys. Hit that like button on your way out. And thank you for watching. Kurt for Tri-Cities. I'm sorry. Tri-Cities tomorrow, right around, I'd say up to a half inch, maybe an inch if that warm front can lift north. But for Tri-Cities, I'd say less than half an inch or up to a half inch. That's the last question I see here. So awesome, guys. I'm going to hop off here now. Thanks for watching.